The division we know today as Catholic and Orthodox was not in essence a religious dispute. It was one of the greatest power struggles in history. And that struggle began far earlier than we tend to imagine. The split of Christianity was not a sudden event. It was the natural result of political, administrative, and cultural tensions that accumulated over centuries. To understand this process, we must begin here. How did the Roman Empire split in two? For centuries, the Roman Empire expanded relentlessly, from Britain to Mesopotamia, from North Africa to the Balkans. This vast geography became increasingly difficult to govern. Collecting taxes, controlling the army, and defending the borders across such enormous distances had become nearly impossible. The central administration in Rome could no longer keep pace with the speed of the frontiers. Under these conditions, Emperor Diocletian decided to divide the empire. The Roman Empire now had two separate administrative centers, East and West. The capital of the West remained Rome, the old center. The capital of the East became Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, the new center. However, this division was not merely a political decision. With it, Christianity began to develop in two entirely different worlds. In the West, a Rome-centered structure emerged. In the East, a completely different system took shape around Constantinople. And it was precisely here that the foundation of the eventual rupture was laid. This division was not just a formality on paper, because the separation was fundamentally about one question: who held power? In the Eastern Roman Empire, the center was Constantinople. Here, the emperor was extremely powerful. The army, bureaucracy, and economy were all governed from a single authority. The church was part of this structure, not opposed to it. The patriarch acted in harmony with the emperor. The church supported the state. In the East, the church stood beside the state. In the Western Roman world, the picture was entirely different. The empire collapsed and barbarian kingdoms took its place. Central authority dissolved. The state weakened. The same religion took on completely different meanings within two different political systems. Amid this chaos, the only institution that held society together was the church. The church filled the vacuum left by the state. And the result? The popes gained power. The pope was no longer merely a religious leader. He became a figure who challenged kings, crowned them, and even deposed them. Over time, the West developed this structure. The church rose above the state. In the East, however, the church remained alongside the state. This political difference was the cornerstone of the division. But the problem did not remain limited to politics. The separation also shaped how people perceived the world and your God. The Western world sought clarity and definition in your domain, including faith. Everything had to be defined, classified, and bound by rules. Even belief became part of a system. For the West, faith meant rule plus hierarchy plus clear definitions. In the East, the perspective was different. Silence, tradition, and continuity were avoided. Truth was not defined, it was lived. Faith was transmitted not through rules, but through experience. For the East, faith meant ritual plus tradition plus experience. This mental divide also reflected itself in language. The West spoke Latin. Latin was rigid, legalistic, and precise. A word usually carried a single meaning. The East spoke Greek. Greek was philosophical, flexible, and multi-layered. The same religious concept turned into two different modes of thought in today different languages. This created deep theological divergences. Over time, these mental and cultural differences surfaced in daily worship and church practices. The Catholic Church adopted the doctrines of purgatory and indulgences. The Orthodox Church rejected them. In the West, clerical celibacy became mandatory. In the East, priests were allowed to marry. In the West, unleavened bread was used. In the East, leavened bread was considered sacred. These differences may appear small, but they were signs of two distinct worlds of belief. The West viewed the East as overly traditional and rigid. The East saw the West as rigid, overly rational, and spiritually hollow. They looked at the same religious texts, but read them through different eyes. This mental separation expressed itself not only in words, but also in visual culture. The earlier triumph today about the ruptures between your East and West occurred during the iconoclasm. In the Eastern Roman Empire, a period arose in which sacred images being AC were vain, about the belief that they're echoing Victoria. Icons were doors, images the Western Church defended timing. To them, icons were not of worship, but courage that reminded believers of faith. This episode clearly reveals